Peace, y'all. It's your man Dave with my brother Quest, the man bringing you all things marriage, paying you huge dividends on your investment in time with us. We're talking about love, sex, having children, money, spirituality, life, communication, and anything else to help you thrive and win in your relationships. And guess what? This is grown folks' business. So get ready to make grown-up decisions. You know why? Because marriage ain't for suckers. That's the name of the program. Marriage ain't for suckers. All right, let's get into it. Hey, yo, Quest. It's time to give the people something, man. What we talking about today?
Yes, indeed. What up? It's your boy Quest. Welcome to another edition of the Marriage Ain't for Suckers podcast. Just wave the deuce on him as I introduce my man, my mellow, my man, host, co-host, you name it, he got it. L. David Harris.
Hey, get on the mic.
And MC.
Hey, yo, Quest.
Yes, sir.
Class is in session.
Let's get it.
Y'all
Shots
come on in
out.
here, man.
Huh?
I say y'all come on in here, man.
Yeah, come on in here, man. Shouts out to everybody this week, man, as we you know what I'm saying, like for real, do what we do best or do what we love to do, and let's talk about this thing called marriage. And some of y'all think we talking about it just because for argument's sake. No, this is how I keep myself in line, brother. I realized, D, that like for real, the person that is the fittest is the one who is consistently working out. And consider this my marital gym. This is where I come to work out, and people just, get a chance to be a fly on the wall while we do what we do. But shouts out to everybody who's been listening. For those who want to find a way to support us, you find that the information is dope that you get. And do me a favor, please stop by any of the podcast platforms, preferably iHeart, preferably Apple Podcasts, like for real, Google Podcasts. Do me a favor, stop by, leave us a review. And if you're watching live, you know what I'm saying, because we do it live every Thursday, comment in the section below. Let us know that you typed in, you know what I'm saying? And we will be ever so grateful for you doing that for us. So yeah, man, shouts to y'all for doing this every week. D, as customary, how are things on the island?
Life is life.
As usual.
Listen, I just realized
we should get a shirt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Life is life.
Life is life.
Marriage Ain't for Suckers podcast. You know what I'm saying? Life is life.
Yeah, I probably have said that more times than anybody else who says life is life.
I promise you, we need to just go on and coin it.
Just go ahead and do it. Yeah.
Just life is life hats. You know what I'm saying?
Life is life.
Life is life.
Listen, I just realized that I didn't have the decency to put an overshirt on. I still got on my undershirt.
Man, come on, man. Stop playing.
What happened?
Although we are a yardies, you understand, we come from a place, real talk, where that shirt that you got on is uniform. A pair of camouflage shorts and Timbs or Air Force Ones, whatever your preference is, depending on what borough you come from.
Yeah, that's true.
And a fitted Yankee. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. That is true.
That is very much Corner Star General uniform. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because I'm looking at myself like this dude got his under, not the over. Sure.
I don't know if they look at me weird. I'm sure they probably do. But when we go out of the country and we be on conference mode, or if we be in the state during summertime, you best believe I got on a white V-neck.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know that they look at it undershirt, but I'm sorry. I'm socialized. So
but clearly, Minna business. So
Minna business.
I'm just saying. But yeah, shouts out to everybody watching and listening. And I need you to do something.
Yeah.
I need you to prepare your mind for the marital success coaching program that we are going to give people the privilege, and I mean that sincerely, of being a part of. Community, Keep Your Vow, the Keep Your Vow marital success program.
Yep.
And we're going to give you a way to, get on the waiting list for that in short order. But this is not a joke thing. We already set up the free ebook, so we're getting that taken care of, and everything else, man. We trying to make not trying. I'm using a colloquialism from DC. I lived there for a long time, but what we're doing is positioning people to experience phenomenal marriage.
Phenomenal.
How did I do, bro? Did it work out?
Phenomenal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So that's where it is. So just be on the lookout for the Keep Your Vow Marital Success Coaching Program.
Marital Success
Yes, sir.
Coaching Program.
Yes, sir.
MSCP.
That's right. Good. We're talking about 90 days of needle moving, results oriented,
needle moving,
successful marriage, not just tips, but we're going to have an experience that will change your lives. And because legacy is one of the 3 pillars, lives of generations to come. I'm just promise. Triple promise. Let's go.
D, it's so funny. I was speaking to my father while we were at the gym this morning. I was on the treadmill and we were talking, and he and I were just pretty much going through some of the regrets, and he was apologizing for some of the things that he wasn't when I was like, Daddy, stop. Let me free you up real quick. You moved based upon information that you had. Plain and simple. I have access to more information in this stage of our existence than you did when I was, True. Nico and Mason's age. So let me just free you up. You can have the regrets if you want to, but why would you have regrets about stuff that you didn't even? It's like holding somebody in expectation of something that they don't have the power to give you. It's an unfair expectation, right? So what I was telling them now is that because we got this information, when Nico and Mason get to my age, I'm not trying to shift I'm trying to shift the entire lineage without having to shift the entire lineage, if that makes sense. What am I saying? I'm saying that if we starting here and this is where we want to go, let me start with making the shift to here. How I raised Nico and Mason will make the shift to here. The next generation will make the shift to here. And ultimately, at some point in time, however God decides to do it, whether in 3 generations, 4 generations, however he decides to do it, at some point in time, the lineage will be heading in the direction that we want it to head in. And so that's what we want to do with this marriage success coaching program, is give you information. Now, here's the caveat. You can't just get the information and not do nothing with it. You got to get the information and do something with it, like actually put it into practice.
Yeah, we're on transformation, man. A lot of these coaching programs, and I need y'all to hear me and hear me clearly. This is where we are separating ourselves. Normally, I really don't care what other people are doing, Quest, but in this case, I need to care about it.
Yeah.
And I said most, and I said it advisedly, most coaching programs of any sort are about moving information from one or a number of persons' brains into other people's brains. But they stop short of what really matters, which is transformation.
Come on.
See, that's what we need. Like, you can go on YouTube and get information. So I'm going to tell you, you can go on YouTube and watch a bunch of stuff. That's not what we give you. And there's no diss to YouTube. There's a lot of incredible stuff. I've put thousands and thousands of videos of my own face and voice in the YouTube. But what I'm saying is, this is transformational stuff that you're not going to get outside of community. And there are few communities that you'll get it outside of this community.
I'm just saying.
So it's no hype, man. I'm not about the hype, bro.
Nope.
That's not my style. I don't have time for hype. So just know that. And let's go ahead and hit them and hit them with the good stuff, man, about foundation with the few minutes that we have today.
Yep.
Yeah. So listen, Quest.
Yeah.
Simone and I. Oh, let me say something about your pops, right?
Yeah.
Shout to Big John. No diss.
Yep.
Right. My mom, who was born in 1947, she had her first child at age 19. I had my first child at 37 or 8.
Yeah, we right around the same age. I think I had mine a couple of years after, but yeah.
So let that settle in. So be free, Sir John, Daddy.
Yep.
Be free.
Be free.
All right. So, foundation. Simone and I, and we're not completely unusual, but there are very few.
Mm-hmm.
We went to the what I'll call extreme, but I don't mean that in a negative sense. Mainly because of David, that's me, to preserve family unity and balance. I'll give you just an example. One example. When our son Josiah was born nearly 13 years ago, I resigned from a career in higher education that I didn't deserve to even be in on paper. And I was still growing and climbing and being very good at what I did. Responsible for veterans benefits.
Yep.
Responsible for, people coming in from other countries who need to get an education. They had to come to me because I was the official for that, and a whole bunch of other stuff, right? But it's like family values time. He's to be born, and to cut a long story, I'm home with him now doing business and whatever else I need to do. And then eventually we left our big home in rural America on acres at the base of a mountain with our own water source and all of that good stuff. Beautiful, man.
Life is good.
Right?
Life is life.
We moved from there to another country altogether for the same reason. Mm-hmm. So career, be gone. It's like, what? That don't make no sense. Listen, my behavior style makes sense out of everything. Like everything has to make sense or I won't do it. But, wait a minute. Family values trumped what seemed or did not seem logical. And all of these years later, same thing I did in 2021, left another, this time, quote, elected position in communication. Responsible for 220 member sites and more and some other stuff for the same reason, because we needed equilibrium. Anything that challenges equilibrium is a problem for me. And therefore, the foundation or the core value is whatever it takes for the family unit. That's all I got on that.
Yep. So it's funny. This is the reason why, let me just put my spiritual hat on real quick. Mm-hmm. I don't know how people do marriage without God. I really don't. I mean, they do it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not condemning you because you do it. I'm just telling you that I want phenomenal.
Yes, sir.
I want exceedingly abundantly above all I could ever think or ask. That's what I want. Right? Mm-hmm. And so it's funny you say that, because sometimes we can't see. Sometimes God gives you a glimpse of the end result. I'm talking within the context of marriage now. It really stretches across all the entire spectrum of life, but I'm just talking within the context of marriage. Sometimes he'll show you the end result, a glimpse of the end result, but he don't show you the plan. Because if he shows you the plan, Joseph, Job,
ooh,
Moses, like, you're probably like, you know what? Forget the destination. I ain't going. You know what I'm saying?
I don't like that plan.
I don't like that plan because I don't all the stuff, because I seriously think that if Joseph knew that he was, after receiving his dream, that and telling all his brothers that if they were going to look at him with the side eye, if they were going to sell him into slavery.
Don't forget the pit, bro. They threw him in a hole first.
In the pit.
They put him in the bank, like they threw him in the hole, bro.
Mm-hmm. I don't think that, and even that in and of itself is enough. It wasn't enough that he was in a pit. It was enough that he got pulled out the pit, sold into slavery. So it's just from one thing to the next. I get pulled out of a pit and I get sold into slavery.
And your bros, and none of your many bros, nobody stepped up and said, this is not right.
And here's the funny thing too, D. Even after things looked like they were turning around, my man's wife makes a pass at him and then threatens him for trying to. So my man back in the hole again
Gone to prison for
for a crime he didn't commit.
a crime, and one of the worst crimes. You can't go after your boss's wife
Are
in
you
a
kidding me?
totalitarian society, cuz
Are you kidding
no,
me?
you don't do that. And yeah.
And here's the funny thing: he had access to everything in my man's house. Just don't touch his wife.
And
Right?
then here this woman that's not about nothing comes and
She liked the way
complicates
my man
things.
moved, and she want piece of the action. And my man, how dare you? How dare you pass me
Deny her,
off
deny me.
as of all the people you could deny, not me. But guess what the reward was? Second in command in all of Egypt. Now you even up under me now.
Even his boss was subject.
To him.
And
dude he threw in jail.
And then the then known world, because this is where the dope part comes.
Mm-hmm.
The then known world could only eat food because
Of his provision.
he was in power.
Yep.
God had given him wisdom
Yep.
to be able to provide for people during a full famine for 7 straight years.
7 years now, bro. All right.
Cuz
Okay.
you ever been hungry? Come on, bro. We talking about
Bro,
7
We
years?
from the hood. There's days we've been hungry, right? So do the knowledge though, D. Let me because we took a little, but we're right there. I promise we are. So imagine leaving what I considered a good paying job.
Mm-hmm.
Like I almost remember it like I was at Microsoft.
Enough said.
Yeah, we
You didn't have a yellow bucket with
I
no
wasn't
diss to the
wanting
yellow
for nothing.
buckets. I'm just saying. But
I
that
wasn't
wasn't your
wanting, homie.
job.
No,
Okay.
bro. I was over there migrating email platforms for some of your biggest companies who were switching from Lotus and from all these other email platforms over to it was at the time where the Microsoft had just created the whole Office 365 suite. And I was a part of the team of engineers that were moving the email platform email system from the platform that they were on over to. So there was this big onboarding. We would have staff meetings before that, and then we would actually go and move over all the pieces of their servers to our servers, and like legit, this is what we're doing, and talking to their email administrators and so on and so forth. So yeah, we was getting paid lovely to do that stuff, right? So there was nothing that until you hear like, yeah, it's time to go.
Mm-hmm. Where's that a while ago?
This was still while I was going back to school to finish up, and then
Yes.
I was going to go get another CIS degree, right, to take it to the next level, right? Here's the funny thing, my mom. The way that I got into IT is that my mom was the one who said, you're good at this. You're good with your hands. Once again, she's operating on the information that she came from, coming from the beautiful island that you know what I'm saying? And we have an opportunity, take advantage of the opportunity that's in your hand. Not knowing when you come here, there are a couple of choices that you can make. See, when you're there and you grow up in that, you take advantage of the best opportunity. Sometimes it's only one or two, if
That's
one or
right.
two.
No care
Sometimes
what.
it's only one, and you
Right.
take advantage of the one that you got.
Yeah.
Not realizing that when you come here with that same mentality, you don't understand that there are a number of different opportunities that you can take advantage of. This is the land of opportunity. You
Yeah.
pick the one that you want, and you just be willing to work and stick to it, and you can have it.
Yes,
Our
sir.
parents didn't know that.
Right.
So I did the same thing, and I held on to based upon how I was raised because of her mentality. And it wasn't until later on she ended up like, yo, I'm glad that you're doing what you're doing. You chose what you wanted to do.
Yes, sir.
But this was one of them things I think, D, that really chose me, because God was like, all right, I'm going to have you move in your gift now.
And he privileged you, as much as it was challenging, to have some experiences that all of us have our experiences, but I'm talking about a negative experience with the blessing of growth that really informs a lot of what you do. Like, for instance, I've been married. I like saying it, man. I always got to find a way to say it. Like, been married nearly 22 years, right?
Yeah.
One good wife,
Yeah.
extremely happy still,
Yeah.
right? That's my calling card. And my family model from before us was treacherous, like failed marriages everywhere, and nobody recovered. When I say recovered, no go again, no fix it. It's just I don't care which way you turn my family, flip it upside down. I don't care which side of the family you look at. So that's my path. But it's not always count up the numbers like 30 how much years. It's not always that. It's how do you also overcome adversity? Enter Quest. How do you overcome adversity? And so your story is a different story, but we end up back to the core value called phenomenal marriage.
Yep.
It's the same core value, different pathway.
Yep. It was funny because even during those times while he was working on me, he was working on her. Because
when you
there
say
was
her,
a time where she was like, yep, she was like, don't worry. She was like, I make enough to hold us down. And I was like, you know, the man in me.
keep
like,
the faith.
Whatever. I'm not, we're not going to let that. And sometimes, even in the middle of marriage, you have to know when to just fall back. Right. There are a number of us who believe in the alpha male, but that is totally against you must decrease so that I can increase.
Don't you remember I said I stayed home, bro.
Yeah. But
I left a perfectly great job.
But here's the funny thing. Even to this day, D, when I'm at home working, even though we working and we doing our thing now, right? Even to this day, to see her have to leave the house and go to the office, it lightweight does. Of course, they would call it would lightweight do something to me. And even to this day, when I see her having to go to the office, now God is even doing some shifting in this season again, which means I got to turn up even more.
Bro,
right?
That's it.
So what are we saying? How do you navigate through all of this stuff?
Just a second. My wife, remember Simone, for 2 years, she was going to the city 96 miles one way without me. So I feel you.
I'm sorry, don't
96 one way
miles,
and
bro.
She's in the top of the top game in medical, even when there were blizzards. Remember Snowmageddon in the U.S.?
Bro,
we had 36 inches at our house, bro. 36. Bro. And wifey she had to go in. So there you go. Pardon the interruption. So I'm with you, bro. I'm with you.
But what do we say to these things, D, when you are faced with these difficulties and challenges as it relates to this, and you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what the goal is, you're trying to move, but then the way that you make it to the goal kind of changes.
Keep the spiritual hat on.
Oh,
because what we do is learn obedience. What we do is we learn to listen for the Creator's voice. And we literally just do what he shows us to do. And so logic, I'm not trying to make it nebulous. I'm not trying to make it mystical. Like logic sometimes, and I am the chief analytical person.
Yeah.
I am the chief of preparation. I'm the chief of, if it don't make sense, don't do it.
Yeah, that's you and Faith.
You see? Right? However, but, as we say, there are times that you say, now God, which way? And he'll say, that way. And logic is out the window because it don't make no sense.
Yeah.
Right? And so listening to God for core value stuff, when I resigned that other position all of those years later, and I'm in a privileged position, I'm talking about privilege, not just that I have work, but it's privileged work. And everybody knows that it's privileged work. And it's like, well, you say you're going to do what? Resign why? Yeah. Family and because balance, and I'm not positioned like I'm supposed to be, like that's our core value. What? Who does that? So I was like, okay, pause. God said so. And so here's the letter. And it's not a diss. It is not a diss. But we need equilibrium because daddy's out of position. Hubby is out of position. And so you listen for the cues. And so when I started to beg God, is it time now? Nope. Can I move now? Nope. Nope. And then when all of the thing mounted up properly to where it was not emotion, it was not feeling, it was principle. And there were so many boxes where the principle was being what do you call it? Not followed. He's like, okay, you can go now. Daddy's out of position. Health is out of whack. Wifey's going to the Heart Institute of the Caribbean because she can't manage my stress level. And I wasn't coming to her firing on her. She's watching what I'm going through because of the out of balanceness. And now she's going to the Heart Institute of why? Because she got a heart problem? No, but she's getting one.
Yep.
My heart's squeezing me, like they say, your heart that beat you.
Yep.
I'm having, and I know, and I eat stress. I rolled through here. I burned through stress. So I'm not one of those dudes that just take on stress. But listen, I was feeling my heart squeezing me. I was feeling other parts of my body that I'm not supposed to know and sense.
Yep.
My head is feeling like it's gonna explode, and I'm the cool dude. Yep. So it's like, yeah, this is, and then don't mention Josiah trying to bribe me not to do what men do. Not just men, but I'm a man. Go to work. Can I pay you? The boy was asking me if he could pay me to not. He would not go to bed until I could go to bed. And when I could go to bed was too late for him to be going to bed. It's too late for me to be going to bed. I'm not into that. I've never been about that life. I'm an 8 o'clock at night boy, but not during that time. I didn't have the privilege of going to bed at 8 o'clock at night. So all of that, it was just like, whatever that means, listen to the voice. God's voice says, okay, it's time now, son. Your family has to balance out like you already know. Yep. It's not a secret. You're not confused. It's time.
But here's the funny thing. We think that we the one that's keeping this family together. We feel like we keeping the family together, not by might, nor by power, but by my spirit, saith the Lord of hosts. And if you are a Christian husband or you are a believer, right, then you should never be in position where you thinking it's you at the helm. God is the only one who is supporting you in thinking you doing what you do. You know what I'm saying? And that's, I believe, when we get stressed out, because you stressed out because you doing God's.
Come on, cuz no.
You doing you trying to operate as God. That's why you stressed out. You know what I'm saying?
I'm like, all the way off my square.
I'm talking about, why else would we be stressed out? If you know God got it, right? And you letting him do what he do, and he tells you, I know I told you I got it. It ain't gonna look like I got it, but trust me, I got it.
Bro,
and you the only time this is the reason why I'm saying, D, that in this space and place, we really got to be careful of what we let into our ears or what we watch. And I'm not just talking about TV. I'm talking about conversations with people, situations that you are a witness to. Like, you got to be careful, because your soul and your spirit is fertile ground. So in other words, whatever you plant is what it's going to bring forth. I don't care what you plant. Whatever you plant, it's going to harvest something. Good seed or bad seed. That's what's coming up. And I think in this season, we pay attention so much to the fruit, not realizing that in order for his plans in everything that we do to be properly manifested, we got to do the root work. We got to do the inside work.
Let's go.
You feel me? Yeah. So what does that look like? Because you're not just going when okay. So I told Zoe the other day, Like you are dope in this season. She probably gonna kill me if she listen to it. Well, she don't listen to the podcast
Careful,
anyway,
careful.
so we good. She probably gonna kill me though. But we had a conversation the other day, right? And I was telling you that, you know what I'm saying, the children, they come and take your stuff and hold it hostage in their room, and then you know what I'm saying, you don't never get it back. And so she took something, went down there, and we noticed some other stuff about her room that we was like, okay, you need to take care of this. You know what I'm saying? This is crazy now. Why? Because she focused most of her time out there than she do. I get it, young adult. You know what I'm saying? They want to express the freedom. But one thing that I always tell her, D, is that okay, freedom is a byproduct of responsibility. You want to look this way, you want to drive this car, you want to live in that house, you want to be able to be a part of this social group and that social group, and you want to move in these areas. But the truth of the matter is, you're not responsible enough to support. You don't just get into those places, drive those kind of cars, live in those kind of houses without doing something to acquire that. And so it requires a certain level of responsibility and discipline to the things that support. He said it the other day. God wants to give us some stuff in terms of marriage and family that we don't get and lose. He wants us to get it and keep it. But what keeps it is the inside work that you do by not, you know what I'm saying, listening to certain things, by not being a part of certain things, right? And that's what allows you to, the only way you lose it is you. Nobody can take it away, because God for sure ain't an Indian giver. So I say all of that to say, D, is that sometimes you think you're going to be prepared for the next level of challenges, and you haven't even been prepared for this current level of challenges. You haven't done the work.
Listen, I don't know if you listened to, and by the way, I know what you meant by the giver statement. You know, people, this time is not the right time for that. But what people have said about that is to give and to take it back. God doesn't do that.
He don't do that.
Did you see that video?
To answer for it at some point in time.
Yeah. Did you see Sarita Jakes and her hubby? I was gonna send the thing to you.
It's been a minute that I
said this is gonna be
them, but
it's gonna be us.
Yeah.
Pause. But anyway.
Yeah.
Listen, I wish I had sent it to you so you could feel it without me just saying it. But she was speaking, man. It was a marriage conference. She's speaking in all of her grown womanness and authority.
Yeah, I love it.
And saying, basically, some of what has gone wrong in marriage, and y'all got to get it, is simple. It's when you started rewriting your vows. You started writing your own vows.
Oh, come on, bro.
And leaving out stuff. And then she quoted, and y'all can like or not like the traditional vow, whatever that means in the U.S., right? But when she went down through that vow and the commitment level that is in sickness and in health, bro, you're going to jump off of something when you watch it, bro.
Yeah.
Right? Until death do us part. And she said, when y'all started writing your own vows and leaving stuff out, then you trivialized it. But I can't say it like her. I should have put it on here, man. I should have put it on there and just took the lumps if they saw it. But bro, I was like, man, I wanted to run through the wall. It was so incredible. And I'm like, yep, see that? Because it was really a picture into the mindset of a lot of people who are getting married. Like Simone will tell you, I'm not really open to, I don't like going to people's weddings. And listen, know this, because I'm not judging it, bro, but we got statistics. I'm like, most of y'all lying. So why am I going to waste my energy? And I'm not saying that everybody's lying. And I can't say I'm a mind reader. I'm not clairvoyant. But I'm just saying a lot of people that invite us to weddings haven't done the pre-work. And I'm like, why am I going there to hold a flag knowing that in a year's time, something is going to change drastically. And you're going to be telling me you're done with it. I don't even ask people, pardon me, one thing. I don't even ask, when I see like Quest, I don't see you in like some weeks or months or years, and be like, yo, how's faith? I don't ask that question no more, because almost 100% of the time people are like, well, we're not together anymore. I'm going to put on a suit I don't like to wear to come watch that. And then in a year's time, you're going to say, we're not together anymore.
Bro, let me tell you something. Shouts out to E. Shouts out to Dee Dee. We were having a conversation last night. And this same thing that you're talking about. There are a couple of couples over the last 5 years. I'm talking about couples where everybody looked at like, yes, they gonna be good. Are the same couples who ended up falling to pieces or on the verge of falling apart.
Oh, Lord.
And I'm wondering to myself, like, God, how? And he said, simply because they're not doing root work.
Found.
You hear people hear me say these little sayings and stuff, D, and they think it's cute when I say stuff like a marriage is only as strong as its least developed individual. How often are you reading a book? How often are you working on yourself as an individual? How often are you working and doing what you need to do for the marriage and for the relationship? Are you a selfish individual or a selfless individual? Which one? Because that'll determine where this is really going. And so to your point, like I'm always going to be in position where I'm working on me first and foremost, and then making sure, hey, is there anything that I can do for you? Because if I give.
Oh, yes. Yes. Yes, sir. As we say in our coaching communities, we have to be our first clients.
That's it.
There are a lot of people trying, and we'll just keep it in this context, a lot of people waxing eloquently on all kinds of different platforms and in all types of different programs, talking about marriage. And really what they're doing is literally just talking. And so I'm just begging, and I'm not ashamed or afraid to beg people, married people first, to take marriage as the privilege it is. I wanted to say so seriously, but that sounds almost ominous. But as the privilege it is to build your spouses, build your children if you have any, but definitely build the community and legacy, and say yes to God to the degree that, just like our brother said here, I don't know if what he means by it, but you're so locked in that you are only willing to
that's
keep,
Jay Strobridge.
Yes, only willing to keep your vow. And listen, I'm no shade. I'm not getting into none of the negative side of stuff. We're talking about producing so many marriages where people, through adversity or no.
Oh, slow down, D.
We are talking about building so many marriages that whether through adversity or not, that we're standing up on our own both spouses, both partners, both the man and the woman together, locked arms, are saying, whatever happens,
hell or high water, I'm staying.
And I get it. We can make up all kinds of scenarios, and some of them be true. I can't get into that right now.
But D, here's the funny thing, and I want to say this before. There's only one type of person that can make that, right?
Yeah.
One who is single.
And
let me not say that. One who is unique. One is separate. And when I say separate, not apart from, set aside for, and the biggest one who is whole.
Complete.
You should never enter into anybody's marital relationship until you've achieved those three. If you haven't achieved those three, don't walk into nobody's marriage.
Save your marriage before it starts. And if we've not had that privilege, for whatever the reason, wherever we are in our marriage situation today, it's time to lock arms with ourselves, meaning our own families, and I dare say, and I'm not ashamed, join community where people are holding one another accountable to say, but hold up, man. Y'all were talking all that slick stuff for all those years on that podcast, Dave. Quest, y'all were talking all that stuff about all that keep commitment stuff on the podcast. Y'all look like you slipping. Like, how you good? Like, y'all good? We not settling for separation from the vow, separation from the people that we love. We're not settling for that. Status quo is out the window. Yep. And somebody got to say it, man. And there's no scenario you can invent that I've not heard of. And I'm not going into those because every marriage is different. I get it. Like, I get all of why people may need to choose another route. But that is not like Joey Kibble.
Shouts out to Joey.
Yeah, man. Like, Joey is in another kind of community and mindset and brand that he's building to deal with that. So shout to people who are doing that, but that's not where we are. Nope. Right? That's his thing, and he's doing and gonna do exceedingly well to deal with the realities of that. But what we're talking about is before that. We're getting ahead of that curve. So that's all I got on that.
Because there's always going to be the group of people who got the information, but you didn't listen. And now you got to feel, it's let me tell you something, D. I'm in that stage of my life now where I don't necessarily have to experience what you went through. I'm like, okay. Yeah.
I'm going to choose that. I'm going to go ahead and choose that.
Let's keep it 100. There's some things that just because that's what you experienced don't mean that that's what I got to experience. But there's some moves that you making that if you make that move, that's the same result for everybody who makes that particular kind of move.
Yes, sir.
And those moves where you don't make smart moves in your relationship, yep, that's the result for everybody. Let's just keep it 100.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
yes,
so
sir.
with that being said, yeah, be smart about your movement.
Yeah, man. Well, it's 37 minutes after the hour. I'm usually at 30 minutes after the hour with wifey, and that's what I'm about to do, man, because I'm keeping my vow.
I know that's right. Stay focused.
Yeah. Holla at y'all.
There you have it, y'all. I hope you've enjoyed your time with us. Marriage is about mutual love and mutual respect, and it works for those willing to make it work. Real talk, our spouses are treasured jewels given to us to make life better. And the sooner we learn to value one another will be the sooner we become the absolute best versions of ourselves we can be. Until next time, peace.